Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the audit meeting for November 24th, 2020 here at Town Road. We have one or two more vouchers, I think, that need signatures. Did you have that? Yep. Oh, okay, so was this the final voucher?
Yes, we have some for discussion and maybe additional signature at the end. No.
All right, and I believe the clerk has taken a role in all 5 board members present. And we do have 2 matters we have to address. First one is the Surgical County Department of Public Works voucher, the amount of $39,934.57. The board resolved the contract with the county DPW for 83 miles of roads to be striped in 2020 at our February 25th meeting, and the total miles to be paid for is 85.11 miles. The board needs to amend resolution 2020-122 to include the 85 miles instead of the 83 miles, so that we can pay the voucher. So I would entertain a motion or a resolution to increase the mileage that is authorized to be striped, it's already occurred, from the previously approved 83 miles to the currently striped 85.11 miles.
So moved.
Second. Discussion?
Just curious, where did they get the 83 miles from? Who gave that number?
The highway superintendent would know for sure, but I know that he works with them in calculating what actually is striped.
No big deal, just curious.
I don't know if it included applying paint on the edge for the highway where we didn't do it before. I don't know.
Okay, just curious, thank you.
Any other questions?
No, thanks.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And then the next matter, we have a voucher from Tabner Ryan Kinnery LLP, which is our special counsel that's assisting us with water and sewer work. And we have a voucher in the amount of $720, which would be paid for from water account 8310. So I would recommend, because we didn't approve a contract, well, they are by resolution listed as attorneys for the town, so we can use them. At this time, I would just suggest a resolution to pay the voucher in the amount of $720.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. So those are only 2 that I had under discussion items. Any other vouchers? Anybody have any questions on? No. All right. So we do have to do a little bit of housekeeping. First one is to transfer funds. So I'd entertain a motion to transfer $18,700.47. That'll be transferred to account DB 5110.1, which is the highway general repairs - personal services, and the same amount will be transferred from DB 5142.1, which is highway snow removal personal services, and the reason for this transfer is for highway payroll.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And then the last transfer of funds would be to transfer $2,707.27. Be transferred to account A1620.4, which is general buildings contractual, and the same amount will be transferred from account A1620.402, which is general buildings annex building contractual. And the purpose of this transfer is for general townwide building expenses.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. And then the final resolution for the audit meeting is one that is necessary to increase revenues in relation to transfer stations. So I would entertain a motion to increase revenues by $20,000 to account TS 2130, which is the transfer station revenues daily fees. And also, as part of that motion, to increase expenditures by $20,000 to account TS 8160.4, which is transfer station contractual. The reason for this increase in revenues is to pay a level of expenditures for a transfer station, recognizing the increased revenue from daily operations of the facility. In other words, more people are using it, it requires us to have more polls. And by having more people use it, you have more revenues. So that's the reason for the transfer.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? No. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Jeffrey, anything else?
I just need some signatures on these vouchers that were just approved.
This one's also. All set. Anybody else have anything for the audit? If not, entertain motion to pay the bills as audited. So
Second.
any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay, thank you, Jeff. Appreciate all your help on this. So I'll entertain a motion to close the audit meeting.
So
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Another smooth. I'd like to welcome everyone to a regular town board meeting for November 24th, 2020, and ask the clerk who is with us in person to call the roll.
Councilmember Hogan.
Here.
Councilmember Noonan.
Here.
Councilmember Van Tassel.
Here.
Councilmember Donahue.
Here.
Supervisor Kusich.
Here, and for the record, we do have counsel with us, but she's joining us this evening remotely. So with that, I'll ask all to rise for pledge allegiance.
To the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. And the first item this evening is approval of minutes. I believe we have 3 sets. Have board members had an opportunity to review them? And any questions, comments?
Just the one correction we noted.
Yes, and we're all set on that. So this would be for November 5th, 2020. We had a budget hearing. November 5th also a solar workshop, and then again November 10th. It was a regular town board meeting. So I believe everybody was here for all those, either in person or remotely. So if the board's pleasure is to take them all at the same time, we can do that. Yes, sir.
Motion to approve. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed, motion carries unanimously. Item number 2 is to set future meetings and workshops. The only thing I think we need to do at this time is to set another solar workshop. I think we're pretty close and probably can wrap it up within an hour. So my recommendation would be to do it an hour before the regular town board meeting on December 8th, if the board thinks that's a good idea.
I can do that.
6 o'clock.
I'm out of town. Right, we're gonna be calling in. Oh, it's a regular town board meeting anyway. Yeah, I'm unfortunately, probably not gonna be available then. Okay. Are you okay if we?
I'm very engaged in the solar, but I'm okay with the fact that these next open items are not anything that I have concern on, so I'm okay.
Okay. I mean, we could reschedule. I do know that town council is available that evening as well, which is why I thought we could do it, because we're coming in December, and I'll keep having meetings for.
I would be more concerned about it slowing up the process, so I'd rather see you still do the meeting.
Okay. If there's anything that you want included in the record, or if I'd be happy to make sure that that happens, if you provide it to the board. I will at that meeting. Yep. So everybody else is okay with 6 p.m. on December 8th?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll need a motion to, or a resolution to set the solar workshop for that date and time.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. You're all set with that? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Just so you know, Mr. Supervisor,
I'm sorry.
council's also texting us that she's available, just so you know.
Yeah, she did say yes. All right. Item 3 this evening is just a brief COVID-19 update. Want to let the board know that as I have been doing since the pandemic outbreak, I did sign a 30-day extension to the state of emergency declaration, which is effective October 14th for 30 days. I'm sorry, I signed it November 13th, 2020, and that will be effective for another 30 days. And I think that's probably important, especially with the numbers that we're seeing. Just recently here today, we have an update from New York State. The positivity rate for all focus zone areas is currently 4.13% in the state. State positivity outside of the focus zone areas is 2.62%. And yesterday there were 47 COVID-19 deaths in New York State. Here in the capital region, our percentages for, I think it's a 7-day rolling average, for Saturday was 2%, Sunday was 2%, Monday was 3.2%. So the 7-day average combined is 2.32%. And then here, a little closer to home, Saratoga County, to date, the total number of cases confirmed is 1,993. Total deaths in Saratoga County is 23. Presently, there's 372 active cases. 1,598 individuals have recovered, and presently 10 are hospitalized. The 7-day rolling average testing positivity rate is 2.27%. New cases in the last 7 days is 314. New cases in the last 24 hours is 57. Here in the town of Monroe has been the total confirmed number at 72. There's been 1 death, there's currently 10 active cases and 61 have recovered. In the village, the total number of confirmed cases is at 23. There's been 0 deaths, there are currently 0 active. And so therefore, the total number recovered is 23, which is good when you have a total number confirmed matched recovered. Total tested for Saratoga County is 176,065. Residents to date in isolation or quarantine has numbered 10,601. And presently in the county, there's 1,316 that are in isolation or quarantine. So that is the latest.
Thanks for that. I actually read an editorial today in the paper that kind of accused some of the, or blamed some of the state representatives for not doing as much coverage on this. So I think it's nice that you do it every meeting.
Thanks.
Keep people updated.
Well, it's something that I think the public very much wants to hear, especially when you drill down to the local level. You know, they want to know what's going on here. They hear what's going on nationally. They might hear what's going on statewide. But, you know, they're most concerned about what's happening in their backyard. So I think it's important to do that.
Sure.
Item 4 this evening is Highway Department requests. I have requests for purchase order. Yeah, be open for diesel fuel out of the 2020 budget. And Paul's looking to open that over the amount of $5,000. This is under state contract to the Office of General Services. And so the vendor would be Sprague Operating Resources out of Portsmouth, New Hampshire. This is on New York State contract number PC 68214. And if somebody would like to move that, we'll ensure that we have necessary diesel for our highway guys.
So moved.
Sorry.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Before I leave highway, I just I want to give a shout out to the highway crew under Paul's leadership. They have done a phenomenal job working hand in hand with our BOCES program, the students, the instructors, and assisting with our trail down at the along the river. As everyone knows, we're looking to do a multi-use trail down there. The highway guys spent a lot of time last week hauling millings from our industrial park that have been stacked up there, which will make a pretty good base for that trail as we move forward in the spring. As recently as today, they were putting the finishing touches on the Universal Playground parking area and the entryway and exitway that will be part of that project. And you know, I'm usually down once or twice a day. I did not go down this afternoon, so I don't know how far they got, but I know they were hoping to get it all the way up to the main road there within the park. You know, I just want to thank Paul and his guys for doing a great job with that. We would not have otherwise been able to get this far without their assistance. So thanks to the highway crew.
Thanks, Paul.
Item 5, listed as Recreation Department. The first, the request that I have from our rec leader is to, as the board recalls, we had budgeted for a program extending recreational opportunities, and this one in particular would be the, I guess it's the disc golf course that we're looking to install at the Harry Vitar Park. And to accomplish that requires some equipment. And so the regulator is looking to purchase 10 Innova Disc Catcher 28S Pro baskets for the creation of the new 9-hole disc golf course with a practice basket at our rec park. He has secured 3 prices. The first one is from Schenectady Disc Golf Club Incorporated in the amount of $3,365, which includes $365 for shipping. The second quote is from Disc Golf Baskets LLC out of Omaha, Nebraska. Price is $3,899.50, also includes free shipping. And the third vendor is discbaron.com out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. The price is $4,249.90, which also includes free shipping. The recommendation is go with the low price of $3,365, which also happens to be an in-state local vendor here in Schenectady, which is the Schenectady Disc Golf Club Incorporated. And if everyone recalls, the town had received a $1,000 grant from Stewart's, which will be utilized to help offset the cost of this purchase. So somebody would like to move that. Did everybody get a copy of the information? Somebody would like to move that purchase. Oh, before you do that, this will be paid from account A7140.2. The balance in that account as of October 31st was $4,539.52. So if somebody's so inclined to entertain a motion to that purchase. So moved. Any discussion?
I just want to say I think it's great, another addition to add. I know Crandall Park is kind of funny, they're doing something very similar, they put 18 holes in. But we're at least going to start with 9, and it'd be great to have down there. It's one of those things like the pickleball, it's picking up in the area. People will seek out these things, so it's one of these offerings we can throw out on our public social media outlets. If you've never seen it, it's wild. People show up with their whole set of frisbees, different sizes. They all go different lengths. They all have different. It's just like golf. It's wild. Yeah, it's pretty competitive. So it'd be kind of fun to see some people down there doing that. So yeah, I'm glad we're doing this.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries unanimously. And you brought up pickleball, and I don't think I have updated the board. Within the past couple of weeks, we finished lining the last court down there. So now we have additional offering part of our tennis courts, offering pickleball down there. So
It's great.
all the things that have been brought to our attention as far as expanding opportunities down there, we're slowly taking off. So I think it's great. So that is that. We already did the roll on that thing. And also on under rec, I received a call from Rich Gimmerhorn expressing an interest. I think I talked or spoke with the board some time ago about the possibility of. Oh, yeah, it was probably before that. Yeah, so for council member Donahue's benefit, I had been working with the support of the board to look at the feasibility of creating a second bowl at the park. If everyone recalls, our residents really like to utilize the bowl, and because there's such a demand, we can't meet that demand. So, I thought the opportunity arose where there's a symbiotic project going on where sand would be removed at a little or no cost to the town. We could move forward, possibly start that second bowl. So that being said, I had reached out to Rich Gimmerhorn, who is a local developer, and he had expressed interest back then, but there's no follow-up. He didn't need it at the time. Fast forward to this week, and he very much is interested in taking loads of sand out of our park. at his cost and with his necessary insurance. And he's looking to take out 20,000 yards of sand. I don't remember how many yards were taken out for the other one. This is probably like a third to a half of the amount necessary to take a second bowl. I'd have to talk with the engineers to flesh that out. So he'd be willing to pay $40 a load, and he expects that he would need 1,250 loads. So basically at that price, it would work out to $50,000 if you were to use or need that much. And the issue for him is timing. He has had access to the spoils from the cement plant for, I think, a similar price, if not the same price. He has utilized all that they have had available. However, they will have some more available, I think, going into the new year. And so there's a time period where Rich is looking to fill the void for moving that amount of dirt. So I told him I'd bring it up to the board, see if that's something they're interested in. You know, if the board does want to move forward with that, we probably should get at least a rough survey of where we want to place it down there before the work begins. I know Rich would like to start as soon as 2 weeks from now. So I have no thoughts from the board members on that.
Do we have any alternate egress in or out of that space other than the main roads? That's 1,250 truckloads.
Yeah.
So they would definitely not be able to go by Jan, they'd have to come in the other way at this point.
Yeah, I'm sure he would come in whichever way we want them to come in.
Well, at one point, we discussed actually coming out forever.
Yeah, that would require that new road to be cut, timber would have to be taken out of the way, clear cut for that.
He's got 2 weeks to do it.
Well, he probably would entertain that, but obviously that would be taken out of the 50,000. So, and I don't know, thoughts on that.
Would you be removing enough to create an entire bowl?
I don't know without talking to the engineer.
Yeah, I mean, man,
I would say that 20,000 yards, you see, is about, triaxle about 18 yards. That's a lot, that's, you know,
So it's-
1,000 trucks.
1,000, yeah. So he's thinking of 1,250 kilos or so.
And he did say that as he carves it, removes it, it would be in compliance with DEC regulations for the degree bank they have to have. I would think that we would want to have it pretty close to what the bowl should be anyway.
Yeah.
So we don't have to move much around, we just keep going down.
I wish I knew the dimensions of the bowl that's there now, we can figure that out.
So in my office, I do have the topography of the bowl was originally laid out.
Oh, yeah, so we can get an idea.
So you can take a look at it. I don't know if it has a total yardage that was removed. I do know it was a lot because they used it to cover basically a 40-acre landfill.
Yeah.
Or the transfer station.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how much, I mean, just trying to figure out the volume of whatever shape that thing is there, and then,
What is the plan for, what would the plan be, that he would take it from the area that's already somebody started removing sand from?
Wherever you want to take it.
Is it right off of where the quads are, there's already some.
Yeah, so years ago, they actually rebranded, some of it was used for highway and other purposes, and there was talk of putting in a amphitheater. Never happened, but, earth was removed from that area. That's what I think, because BOCES has cleared so much of that area. One of the things that I would want to be cognizant of is, to have appropriate area for the parking area for both bowls. If you were to, construct that second bowl,
Absolutely.
you want to have enough room on both sides. But that would probably be more of an engineering question.
Is he looking to start within a couple weeks?
Yeah. I mean, if the board is amenable to it, I can flesh out more details from him, work with Carl, work with engineers to get an idea. I'd ask everyone for their input on where to locate it down there. Obviously, it's gonna go where BOCES has their staging area for equipment, but where exactly, that probably needs professionals to tell us.
I would certainly want to explore this as far as we can. I mean, to generate $50,000 of revenue would be a good idea.
Yeah.
If it makes sense, if it's consistent with our other goals, which it sounds like it is, a desire to have another goal. Do we have some other plan to try to cut another road in off of Fort Edward?
I think that's the long-term goal, but we're a ways from that. As you know, we're working on the purchase of that other 54 acres too. So we may want to take that property into consideration when we do our road layout. So it sounds like there is interest to need more information.
Yes, for sure.
That's what Cal said. I piqued my interest, let's put it that way. If we are going to involve, we got to get rid of stuff. It'd be nice to get somebody to pay us and take it out of there. Maybe get it taken out of there. I think there's some more details that maybe can work out.
Yeah, I mean, I will report back to Rich. It is a timing issue too, so our next meeting is on the 8th, so it's not too far away, but I think it would take us that long to get the necessary survey out there for where you want it to go anyway, quite frankly. But I'll report back to them that there's an interest, and I'll say the board did not say no. How's that?
Yeah, no, I'd love to explore.
That work?
Yeah.
He may need I don't know if he's gonna need a mining permit to do that.
That was a thought that I had.
Yeah.
Our
We can have,
could fill us in on that.
have council do that.
So he needs 20,000 yards, would that be cubic yards? I guess.
I'm trying to figure that out now too.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, I'm just trying to.
27 cubic feet.
What?
27 cubic feet per yard.
Yes.
So that's a cubic yard, right now, he's trying to get 20,000 cubic yards, I'm assuming, because it's 18 cubic yards in a triaxle.
Yeah.
Okay,
Into 20.
okay, Carlos council's gonna look into see what Mr. Skimmore has to do for permitting.
Okay. All right. Everybody go with that?
Yes.
All right. So that is rec, transfer station.
What's our for?
So we have an opening, unfortunately, as a result of the passing of a town employee, and I think there might be some additional staffing changes down there. So I believe that the personnel committee interviewed Mr. Fred Coppola for the position of labor at the transfer station. It's the personnel committee's recommendation, and I met with the individual too and interviewed him. I think it'd be a great addition. So if the board is in agreement, I would recommend hiring Fred Coppola at a rate of $12 per hour, effective immediately, and subject to the successful completion of a background check and pre-employment physical within each week period.
So,
Second. Any discussion?
No, the only other discussion was that the personnel committee did pass on the individual's availability in the transfer station, just need to make sure that aligned with the need, but if that's been done.
I'm not sure. I did speak to Ted, he was very adamant about hiring, and they could work with whatever he needed to with him.
So I spoke with Mr. Coppola today when he was in my office doing paperwork. And he said it was pretty much, he could accommodate us on any day except Mondays. And I don't know what that means for the schedule down there, but That's 6 days.
Yes.
Yeah, not counting the days before. Good, or counting days before, yes. So, we already called the roll on that? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. I did receive an email, I'm not sure, it went to the early board members as well from my recording clerk for the planning board and zoning board. And for background, as a result of the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, through executive orders that the governor signed, in order to be in compliance with the open meetings law, in addition to having minutes and a recording, you actually have to have a transcript, which everyone knows isn't verbatim, what we say, including all the and uhs and everything else. And so what that has meant for the planning board meetings and the zoning board meetings is that our recording secretary is spending an awful lot more time than she ever anticipated spending putting those minutes together. And so she had reached out to all of us, I believe, all of us in an email, was hoping that she could receive additional compensation. She did not indicate what that would be, what that number would be. She currently, I think she gets $75 per meeting now, which works out to $150 a month. So I had Lisa in my office reach out to her to see if additional $25 for each meeting would be amenable to her, and she said yes. So that would mean that we would need to increase her, and we do have money in the building department budget for that. You know, if we increase her an extra $50 a month, that's $600 a year. We do have that money in next year's budget. So my recommendation would be to offer a resolution to increase her compensation from $75 a meeting to $100.
Are you looking for a motion right now or discussion?
Oh, either or.
Well, is this during this extenuating circumstances with this time, because of the transcript piece, would it go back afterwards when that?
So I think when the executive order sunsets, and I don't see that happening in the pretty foreseeable future. Obviously, when you have meetings open to the public, you wouldn't need that transcript, but right now it's contained within an executive order. So you can make it a motion predicated on the fact that as long as the governor's executive order is in full force and effect, or you can just change it, whatever the board's pleasure is.
So that probably wasn't part of the conversation with her that.
No, COVID wasn't in place.
Oh, right. Oh, okay, so it was previous to executive order.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm looking more at it.
I'm okay with the motion as it was, and then we can move it back. You know, the situation changes, we have the right to move in either direction.
Okay,
It's fine.
so somebody like, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Would you like somebody like?
Motion to approve.
Second.
You got the motion made? Okay.
All in favor? Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries unanimously. I got two different.
Can I,
Oh, I'm sorry.
it's discussion related, but.
Oh, on that previous motion?
Yeah, but it's related but not directly. So that's not just that board.
No,
How are we
we're doing
doing,
it too.
how are we doing on all the other transcribes?
We're working on that
Okay,
in our free time.
Okay.
I had actually brought that up to you folks.
Yeah.
A couple months ago, because there's no time limit in getting them done. It's not like it's urgent where we're having to cram it in on our own time. So it's going slow, but we're working on them.
I think I got our pulled information regarding the services available through Zoom, and we weighed that against the fact that you have extra time. Okay, all right, thank you.
We did roll call on that.
I did.
Good Good job. I'll take all the help I can get. And if anybody wants to, this is actually, well, you got the copy, but you printed out single page. This was last month's meeting. So it's a lot more extensive than really what you signed up for when we offered her position. With dollars to spare. All right, number 8, I have listed as resignations and appointments. This is in relation to a clerk position that has been open in my office for at least two years now. And we, the personnel committee, as well as myself separately, met with a group of individuals, and I don't know if the personnel committee wants to talk briefly about number of candidates.
I can summarize it again. Councilman Lunar and myself worked through 30-ish, 29, 30 submittals of applications. It was a good pool of people. We narrowed it down to just under a dozen. Scheduled or attempted to schedule invites. We ended up interviewing 8 people in total out of that total population. Boiled up to 2 or 3 final candidates, and that was the effort. We made our recommendations on 2 final candidates. Left it to the supervisor's office with our advice as to what to do next. So that's just a quick summary of the action that happened to get to where you're at.
Yeah, and I'm happy to report that I think every individual that was interviewed was a town resident, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And it was a great field of candidates. And I did follow up with one individual, which I thought would be a very good fit for my office. And it actually happens to be an in-house individual. She is Deputy Town Clerk, Tammy Daly. And so I had spoken with the town clerk regarding any issues with essentially a lateral move from the clerk's office into my office. And I can tell you that she was very gracious in her comments and very polite, but having been the individual that has disrupted her office twice now since I've been supervisor, under those circumstances, she handled it very well. So I offered the position to Tammy Daly, and she accepted it. And my recommendation would be, we had budgeted for this last year, we budgeted for 2021. And if you were to take into consideration the 2% raises that our employees are getting in 2021, in addition to the funds that she receives from the death certificates, her arrangement with the clerk, she would be at $39,000 for 2021. So my recommendation, I would not like it to be just a lateral move, would be to increase that by 1,000. You know, I think it's great that's what's promoting from within. A lot of other employees know that, you know, just because they're working in another department doesn't preclude them for other opportunities across the town. So my recommendation would be to hire Tammy Daly at a salary of $40,000 annually, if the board thinks that's appropriate.
Motion to approve.
Well, wait, I can't do that, it's for just policy
Discussions.
Yeah, and the reason, because I have to accept her resignation, the board does, before we hire, but I just want to make sure before we accept her resignation that everybody's okay with that.
I'm okay with it. I appreciate you talking to the clerk first.
Yeah.
He's sensitive to that department.
And before we get into the actual resolution, as we discussed both this year and last year, that is a newly created role, and salary is going to be partially paid for with the monies that we had earmarked for Rudy, who spent 20 hours a week, basically doing the vouchers, doing all the things that Jeff and Lisa in my office have been doing since COVID hit. We unfortunately had an opening there. So that would be probably 50% of the job. Talking with the clerk, and maybe this made it a little bit easier for her, I said that the board had discussed utilizing part of that position to do water billing. So we're going to take that responsibility from the clerk, it's going to go into my office, which means that part of that position will now be paid for through water department via water rates. I can't remember what the percentage was on that. And also that position will be used for coverage when we have vacations, sick days, sick times, being utilized by other departments, maybe the assessor's department and the building department. So it's basically a catch-all in addition to the regular responsibilities over there. I did speak with the clerk regarding, she has two busy times of the year, as the board knows, September and January with tax collection. Obviously, Tammy's very knowledgeable in that. And she's willing to assist as necessary for those 2 months as well. So I think it's a good fit. You know, we'll all be working together, and it will help alleviate some of the additional responsibilities my office picked up when Rudy stepped down. So with, I'm sorry, did you have anything?
No, I was just going to comment quickly that there's just an awful lot of value that comes out of all of those things. I still think it's a great plan, especially at a time when we have to be sensitive about bringing on additional resources, you know, for COVID. But that said, you know, to add continuity across all the offices to provide the needs, it's just something we've needed for a long time. So that utility worker, Tammy's proven to be a very dependable, loyal, get along with everybody. Yes, from my perspective, employees. So I just think it's a great fit.
And board members, I think, have a copy of a memo from the clerk, which there will be some restructuring over there. She has some requests in the memo. That's something that we can take up as we move into probably next month's board meeting. And I know we just got it today, right? The memo that did. Yeah, so that'll be food for thought for another discussion coming up at next board meeting. So with that, I will need, actually we'll do it all together. I would entertain a motion that the town board accepts the resignation letter from Tammy Daly in her position as deputy town clerk effective November 28, 2020, and that it be further resolved that Tammy Daly be hired in the position of clerk, full-time salary of $40,000 effective November 29, 2020.
So,
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And so with that, that does require an administrative change in the clerk's office, which requires that the remaining deputy clerk be officially appointed to the position of deputy registrar. So I believe it's a state law requirement that you have a registrar in your office.
Yes.
Yeah, so with that, I would entertain a resolution that the town board appoint Jill Bennett to the position of deputy registrar effective November 30th, 2020, and be further resolved that the compensation for this position will be half the birth and death certificate filing fees paid to the registrar in accordance with the New York State Public Health Law, section 4173, subsection 3.
So moved.
second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed?
No, I just had one question. How come
Motion carries unanimously.
yes, how come we appointed her to your position on the 29th and this one's on the 30th?
I think it's at the request of the clerk.
One day doesn't matter to me as long as I have it on board. Anyway, the 29th is on a Sunday.
Okay.
The 30th is on Monday. You know, the payroll period starts on a Sunday, but this has nothing to do with payroll. Okay, so
I think that's for resignation appointments. We'll set there supervisor, I have just a few. Want to make the board and public aware that the US Route 4 bridge over the Hudson River in the Schuylerville will be closed Monday, November 30th for emergency repairs. And it's projected to take 3 weeks to complete those repairs. And we received that notification from New York State DOT. If any member of the public or board member has any questions, they can reach out to DOT at 518-860-9171.
Is that the steel bridge?
Yeah.
The great,
We're going to take your motorcycle over, it's like right.
I think it was like this, and
Riding motorcycle on. Yeah. Same one that the barge did. Yeah. Years ago. Next item I have is I have a request from town employees and here at Town Hall, and they're all in agreement. I think we did this in the past, and that is to close Town Hall on December 24th for Christmas Eve. All town hall employees have agreed to use personal or vacation leave for that day if the board approves this request.
Yes.
So we'll entertain a motion to add to that effect. Somebody like to move that.
A motion to close.
Motion to close town hall on Christmas Eve
December 24th.
with the understanding that employees will use personal or vacation leave.
So.
second.
All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Two more items, and I think we're all set. Next one is I have a notification from National Grid regarding routine tree maintenance in the town. They will be working through their contractor, which is Lewis Tree Service. And they'll be doing work on utility lines to make them more free from trees, and therefore less opportunity for outages when we have inclement weather. And they'll be in the town of Monroe for a period of from November 16th through January 29th, 2021. And if anybody has any questions regarding the work they're doing, they can reach out to 800-642-4272, which is Customer Service Contact Center for National Grid. And then just wanted to update the board on a meeting I had at the request of Upstate Insurance Agency. They're very interested in being considered for our as our insurance agent. I had a great conversation with Valerie Childs, and I don't know if the board, the insurance committee is interested in taking a look at the information I have. If so, I have it in my office. I can provide it to you, take a look at it. As a courtesy, I did reach out to Dave Meager, let him know that I had that meeting, and that, I'm okay with the law sheet being provided to this individual. And I think maybe statutorily, certainly through regulations, when the client allows that, the agent is made aware. So I didn't want to be blindsided, or so I had Lisa send out an email to him. It did spark a return call pretty quickly, and he very much wants to continue to be our agent. So if anybody wants to, meet with Valerie, just reach out to my office. They can set it up. Understood. All right. And actually, I lied, I had one more item. I did meet with Spectrum, or is it Charter now? Spectrum. Anyway, their government representative. We met for about about an hour or so this week in relation to getting cable service to unserved areas of our town. He did provide a map which is proprietary that shows all the areas of the town that are serviced. And I was actually shocked at how much of the town is serviced. And there's only one particular area that is not serviced. Route 32. And he actually wanted to know who specifically had reached out to my office, and I talked in general terms, and then he named the name of a former town employee that lives on that stretch, and she has been quite vocal in reaching out to him. So he is sending, at my request, a team out to basically survey like Fido Road, where we've had a lot of build out there, and down through Ganser Road from basically 1 mile south of the intersection 197 and 32 all the way down to Mock Road. So I told him that if the company was so inclined to get service through there, they would probably do a lot for a number of calls that they get requesting service down the road. Now, that's not to say there aren't some areas on the fringes that are underserved, but I was surprised at how much of the town was actually covered by that service. So I'll report back when I get additional information on that contact.
Great.
And that's all I have for supervisor items. Committee reports. I know personnel committee reported already.
Just to add, as part of the personnel committee, I think HR, that's the organization I think we're using to take the annual harassment training online. I think we have, because of the COVID situation, we have it through December. So the department heads, if they haven't reminded their staff, should probably remind their staff they have for December to look back through the emails, find the Think HR info that has come through, sign up for that Think HR account. That includes all of us as well. Do you already do it?
No, well, I tried to do it.
Okay.
I wasn't allowed in.
Okay, I'll look into that. Because I
Reach out to Jeff in my office. And it could be.
No, but yeah, but he wasn't done, but he was busy with something. He was supposed to get back.
Okay, I'll bring it up.
So I've taken one of the tests. These aren't, unfortunately, the ones where you can start and walk away and take a quiz at the end and pass. They're interactive, so they keep you on your toes. So you do have to kind of watch and do. And so for the department heads that have done it already, that's great. For those who haven't, we want to make sure there's enough time allocated in the workday for folks to do this. Like we have through December 30th or 31st. I think I'll clarify that again once I get back and look at it. But I wanted to put a meeting to mention that a few times we've had these meetings today. Finally remember. Good.
Yeah, we do chase down some stragglers as we get to the deadline, but I'll make sure my office reminds everyone. I'm sorry.
Like tech, if you don't,
I'm all set, thank you.
moment for technology update.
Yes.
So I've talked in the past, you're all aware that we were working with Spectrum and a couple other carriers to do a cost analysis across the townwide cost analysis of telco, which would be, local dial tone, long distance and internet, to see if there was an opportunity to get the economy of scale and reduce the cost, and or certainly get service where we don't have it, and simplified billing, and or more bandwidth where needed. And so I'm ready to meet with Jeffrey next week
I'm great.
on that. It looks like there's for more they can service all locations. There is a build out to water and sewer for where they have their office over on Nolan, but Spectrum will not charge us that build out cost. It's fairly significant, but they'll absorb it. And there's probably about a $20 savings if we were to stay as it's proposed now, but that puts internet in every location and it adds more bandwidth and so on. So that's a high level summary, but here's my ask to the board. I guess we need direction from this point, because remember, the idea was not just go see if we can get consolidated billing and make sure we get the best price, but can we put internet at all locations? Because then we can do a couple things. One, we can do cameras at places like the transfer station. Come back to that in a minute. We can do time clocks at all locations if you were gonna move toward a time clock system and move to a payroll platform, because I know that was being considered. And then the other one, try to follow this bouncing ball. Today, when the phone calls come into the town hall, it's maybe not the most customer friendly. There's a long greeting up front that says, if you want highway, hang up and go call this number. If you want courts, hang up and go call this number. If you want rec, hang up and go call this number. And if you want the dog catcher, go hang up and go call this number. And finally, you get to the directory, you can pick your options. And the clerk gets the privilege of recording that message over and over. But that's not really using the technology built in your phone system. The current phone system, if it had the right service delivered here, would have the ability to use technology that would allow you to have those calls automatically routed across the internet to any of those locations. Or point them off to another location, like off to the dog catcher or off to the court, who has their own phone system. But we can have phones in highway, you could have phones in all the other locations, and utilize that phone system more effectively than we're utilizing it today, and still have cameras and or time clocks at these remote locations. So the ask is, how far down that rabbit hole do you guys want me to chase? If we want to do cameras at the transfer station, we need to do a wireless shot from highway to the booth down at the transfer station. We can pull some pricing on that. If we want to do changes to our phone system to offer a better solution, you know, we could probably do that also without significant costs, but it's going to require me to go pull some vendors and get some quotes.
Yeah, no, well, first of all, thank you for doing that. It's something that I think, you know, we talked about it for, at least since I'm a supervisor, with many different things going on. And I think the timing has come now where we can focus our efforts on getting that upgrade. I mean, at the end of the day, we're a customer service business, and anything that we do to make their experience here at Town Hall quick, efficient, and get them to where they need to go is good for all of us. So, you know, knowing that this was something that we wanted to do, I know we had money in this year's budget. We have money in next year's budget. I don't know what the total amount is, but I would be supportive of taking the next step, you know, and having you secure, you know, vendor pricing on that.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine too. Is it too much to look into what it would cost to have a better internet service down at the rec park?
I think it's part of it.
Yeah, so part of this not only do they are trying to give us more bandwidth at every location, but right now built in the price is not a significant line item, is to have them also provide equipment for wireless. So if you wanted to open up a wireless hotspot, then we can open to the public in some secure way, or so the answer is yes.
Okay.
We can do any and all of that. We could do, it puts us in a spot to later do cameras if you want to do more cameras. And
Yeah.
so I don't know what you're thinking of when you said wireless, or when you said more internet at the park, were you thinking of something specific?
No, I guess it's the fact that staff it might just, the way information is sent over the internet these days, it might be helpful even with some of these folks going for tournaments, when they want to broadcast, or, I mean, everything is a broadcast now.
Yeah.
Everything, if you go to church, you go wherever it's on the internet. If we had the ability to do that at Rec Park, it might be a better draw for us. You know, or one more thing we could add, maybe help with fees and things like that. Then I also thought, you know, down by the river, or a new trail system and for security, because it wouldn't be hard to come off down from landfill, because it's right in the backyard, come down that way. Just thinking in terms of hardware, wire, whatever, coming down the trail for security cameras and things like that. So I don't know, I guess I'm just looking at all of our facilities and would love to have them as up to date as we can get them.
Yeah, we had another desire to also connect these remote locations with their computers back to the server here, to add a layer of security. We can't do that today without putting this kind of infrastructure in place. So it does put infrastructure or the framework or foundation in place to be able to do all sorts of things like you're suggesting. Each of those would come with a price tag, we'd have to figure it out at the right time. But,
Who would?
I mean, if you just take an example in my last office, is like right now, this challenge with Think HR. Like we got offices that don't have good internet, and employees in some of these road offices, and they have to still go online to take some of this training, right? So it just resolves a bunch of problems.
Right.
For example, transfer station has to come to my office to do the training.
Right, I mean, yeah, in terms of that, get creative maybe in terms of someone has a computer at home and they spend 2 hours on the clock, but at home completing this one. I mean, but yeah, it would take care of that problem, for sure.
Well, so the answer is, put some effort toward having some vendors to pull us some quotes on the things we talked about. Yes.
Yes.
We'll come back to you throughout December on that and see what we can get done this year.
And the other component which will make what we do here even more efficient is electronic time clocks. Everything is done by hand in my office, punch cards and stuff like that. So, if we can come up with the technology, somebody comes in, has an ID, swipes it, when they're in, maybe they swipe it at the end of the day, goes to, it's all automatic. It'd just be a more efficient use of staff.
There's a long list of all the reasons why moving to a payroll
So I
system
think
and technology makes sense.
I think we're there now. Any other committee reports?
One more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just one more on the technology. I do have a meeting set for, I think a week or two from now. You asked me to take a look and do vehicle tracking for the town as we start.
Oh, yes.
So we've got a vendor that's being used by several other towns that I have a separate meeting with. And we're going to have a meeting with myself and Jeffrey.
Great, thank you. Councilman, oh, you had something.
Just the progress that's being made down at the rack as far as the playground goes. They're supposed to be pouring more concrete tomorrow. And I think that the file for the trying to get done for Monday. But
Did they pour some today?
I don't think they poured concrete today. They poured yesterday. They were working on forms today,
Okay,
and they're expecting to pour tomorrow.
I know highway was down there,
We're working
some
on
gravel.
the sidewalk or the parking area.
Parking area.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. You good? All right, I don't believe we need an executive session. I heard from council that we need one.
Is she still here?
She's here.
And so with that,
I'm here.
oh, there she is.
Hi, Carla.
Hello?
I've been listening to the whole thing.
Your voice is hoarse. Have you been having some hot toddies while we're working here?
No, I have a cold, which is why I'm not there infecting all of you with my cold.
All right, great. So you don't need an executive session. We'll move on to other business. Anybody have anything else for tonight?
No, sir.
No.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much, everyone.
Feel better, Carla?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, We can't get under an hour. And I'm gonna chuck it up to my